Happy Whiskey Sunday. Some news came out today, January 14th. Greatest whiskey in the world came out from Forbes, of all places. Let's check it out. The world's best Scotch whiskey, according to Tag Global Spirit Awards. So it comes from Glenfiddich. It's a common whiskey, a common Scotch that you see, Glenfiddich 12, 16, 18. But this is the Grand Cru they're talking about. It took home two different categories. So best in show, the Glenfiddich 23-year Grand Cru, finished in rare French cuvée casks. All that is French wine. We've talked about French oak in the past, and this is just a wine finish just like you'd see the sherry casks. But with this news, I couldn't resist, so I had to get it. So let's test it. But first, let's learn a little bit more about Glenfiddich. So where is that? Check out Google Earth. That is in Dufton, Scotland, Speyside. It is a giant distillery. You can see it here. All of this is Glenfiddich, and it's rightly connected to the Balvenie distillery right up in Speyside. So you'll see Craigenlochie, Charlestown of Aberlour, and a whole bunch here. But it's a beautiful distillery. If you can tour it, they have fantastic food. It's an awesome spot to go check out. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the whiskey. So it's finished in these fancy French oak casks, cuvée casks. Let's check out their website. As soon as you load the page, beautiful entry. Click Discover. Let's check out the bottle a little bit. Two luxuries combined. Color nose. I'm really excited to try this out. Got it over here. So enough. Here it is. Let's pop this baby open. Pull it out of the box. You got a little foam here. It says, please pull down. Oh, that makes sense. Now we can flip it out. Get rid of the box. No one needs that. I said it before. I'll say it again. A good Scotch, a good bottle of whiskey. They have a tin seal around it. You can see it right here. It's really nice, and it's got the stamp, the emblem of Glenfiddich right on it. But let's check this out. 23 years, single malt Scotch, cuvée finish. So that very first scent coming out of the bottle, that's just so powerful. Ooh, beautiful metal finish, metal cap. Pop this open. Get that sound. Oh man, that definitely has some wine influence to it. So we're gonna pour it in our trusty Glencairn. Make sure I don't spill it anywhere. But wait, there's more. I had to pick up a sample to compare it to. Glenfiddich 12-year. You can get this anywhere. You cannot get this anywhere. So we'll pull out another one. Open the sample up. Just to compare the color. So Glenfiddich is a Speyside distillery. They don't do a lot of finishing in sherry casks. And we talked of how whiskey is produced. Let's just check the colors. They're very, very similar. So I have the one here, the 23-year and the 12-year. Glenfiddich is known for their pot stills with making the cut very late before to capture the hearts, and then very early with the tails. So it's a very light, a very fruity, a very floral whiskey. Not very intense overall. It's just very smooth on the palate. But back to camera on me. Again, I got 23-year and the 12-year. The 12-year just smells like a standard whiskey, something you're going to mix with. Doesn't have really standout scent to it. 23-year, definitely a bit more intense, but very, very, very subtle hints of floral. I can't resist. When you're at a tasting event, do you go with a lesser one and work your way up to the high end, or do you start with the best there and then work your way down to compare? every sip you take impacts the flavor. Start with your high end. Start with the best in class wherever you're at. So, best in the world according to Forbes. Mm, mm. Completely envelops the tongue. Great finish. And it stays true to what Glenfiddich does. Very floral. Not a lot of influence from the casks as I was expecting. Floral, light, fruity. It's a excellent scotch. Not something that I would standard go to or normally go to, but I say this is really, really good for those floral, light hearted, not intense on your tongue, easy to sip, smooth sippers. And if you're new to the Scotch world, something you really don't need to add a lot of ice to. Finish is still there. Finish is still there. But let's go back over to Firefox and we'll leave the bottle up there. Let's check out the ratings. So here we have a 92 from distiller.com. Sweet and rich. I'd agree with that. Definitely rich and sweet, a bit more floral. I didn't pick up too much vanilla. Absolutely no smoke or spice or anything that you would get from the Islay scotches. And now I have to try the 12 year. Not a lot of to this. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Way less intense in flavor. That is a very, very smooth scotch. Nothing jumps out on the tongue. Nothing very prominent. Let's just take a look at the peaks here. Sweet and rich from the 23 year. So what does 11 more years do? And then finishing in a French oak or cask that's got some cuvee finish to it. 86, still pretty good. Considering the price difference, maybe $40 for a bottle, $50 for a bottle of 12 year. This bottle right here was $370 in Virginia. Then you add on the tax, it came out to be about $385. I wouldn't buy this again. If I was at a bar, I'd say this is worth a try. If it's rated the best whiskey in the world, you have to try it. But what would I pay for this? I would pay $50 for a dram of this. I wouldn't pay much more than that. Glenfiddich is great. I'm just akin to the more intense flavors that don't show up on here. So the scale is not really set. Let's just ignore the scale overall. You're going to get more floral and fruity and vanilla. No, absolutely not. This is not more intense flavor. If we go back over the 23 year, it's not too different of, if you look at the end, it says it's got more vanilla. But if this had a scale, if only this had a scale, the 23 year is a bit more pronounced in its flavor and especially the finish. 12, it's entry level. You shouldn't expect too much from the 12. And compared to the 23 year, you're taking off. This is something I'll sip on for the rest of the evening. I take that back. I'm glad I picked it up. You never know until you try it. This is going to be a great whiskey, great high-end premium whiskey to compare to the Bruichladdich, to compare to the Macallans, the Aberlours, the special releases, and even some independent bottling. If this bottle is best in show from this, as announced by Forbes, you should be comparing it to others, and that's how you really find out what you like. So check it out, find it at a bar, and let me know what you think.